Please don't sell me. I'll do anything, she begged, but the human gave her a blanket instead. The twin suns of Alirax 4 burned red in the sky as the market filled with noise and dust. Beings of every kind walked between stalls. Tall insectoids, thick-scaled reptilians, soft-furred creatures with glowing eyes. Food, weapons, tech, and slaves. Everything was for sale. And in the middle of it all, she stood, alone, shivering. Her skin was a soft lavender hue. Her silver hair clung to her back in tangled strands. Her dress, once white, was now dirty and torn. Her name was Zari. She had no money, no family, no future. She had only her clothes. Zari stood at the edge of the trading circle, staring at a bowl of steaming food on a merchant's table. Her stomach growled loud enough to make a nearby guard glance at her. She hadn't eaten in 2 days, maybe 3. Time blurred when you were starving. A tall, three-eyed vendor snarled. No credits, no meal. Zari swallowed hard. She whispered, almost to herself, all I have are my clothes. The vendor tilted his head. What was that? Zari looked down, ashamed. Then, she did what she never imagined she would do. She slipped one strap of her dress off her shoulder. The vendor grinned. Others noticed. A group of miners laughed. One of them tossed a coin on the table. Let her dance for bread. Zari took a deep breath, her hands trembling. She didn't want this. She didn't want to be seen like this, but she was hungry, so hungry. Maybe just this once. Maybe after this, she'd get food. Maybe after this, she could sleep without pain. She began to pull the fabric lower. Then, a voice cut through the market. Stop. It wasn't loud, but it was deep, commanding, human. The crowd turned. A man stepped forward. He wore a long coat, dust on his boots, and a scar over his left eye. His gaze locked on Zari. He didn't look at her body. He looked at her eyes. She froze. The strap of her dress still halfway down. The human didn't blink. Put it back on. Zari felt her heart pound. No one had ever said that to her, not since she lost her home. Not since she was captured and sold again and again across the stars. She began. I know what you were doing, he said. He walked toward her and dropped a ration pack on the ground. Eat. Zari stared at it, then up at him. Why? Because you're not food, he said simply. One of the miners stepped forward, drunk and annoyed. Hey, we paid for a show. The human turned, slow and calm. His hand rested on something under his coat, a weapon. She's not a show. The drunk backed off. Zari bent down slowly and picked up the ration. Her fingers shook as she tore it open. The smell hit her first. Salty, warm, real. She ate like she hadn't eaten in a week. The human waited until she finished. What's your name? He asked. Zari, she said, wiping her mouth. He nodded. I'm Briggs. Why did you help me? Because no one else did, he replied. And that's not right. Zari stared at him. People didn't just help others in places like this. Not without a price. Not without wanting something. But Briggs didn't touch her. Didn't ask for anything. He just looked tired. And kind. And human. The market moved on. The show was over. The miners lost interest. The vendor grumbled and turned away. But Zari stayed there, staring at the man who changed everything in one moment. She whispered, "Thank you." Briggs gave a half smile. "Let's get out of this place." Zari hesitated, then followed. For the first time in months, she felt safe, but deep in the shadows of the market, eyes watched. Eyes that didn't forget faces, or names, or debts. And now, Briggs had made enemies he didn't even know about. Zari followed the human through the narrow alleys of the spaceport. The sounds of the market faded behind them, shouting vendors, laughing drunks, alien music. Her hands clutched the empty ration pack like a treasure. The man named Briggs walked. With purpose, quiet, strong. He didn't speak. And Zari didn't know if she should. "Where are we going?" she finally asked. "Somewhere safe," he said. Zari had heard those words before, from traitors, from pirates, from men who smiled first and hurt later. But Briggs didn't touch her, didn't stare. He just walked ahead, checking corners, past broken doors, rusted ships, and sleeping aliens. A tall robot with glowing red eyes turned its head as they passed. Zari stepped closer to Briggs without thinking. He noticed but didn't say anything. They reached a small door. Briggs scanned his wrist over the lock. It opened with a click. Inside was a dusty room, old crates, and a bed that looked barely used. "This is yours?" Zari asked. "For now," he said. He handed her a water pack and nodded to the bed. "Rest. You're safe here." Zari sat down slowly. Her legs were weak, her body tired. But her mind raced. She looked up. "Why me?" Briggs sat across from her on a crate. "Because you were about to give away something that should never be taken." She blinked. "I had no choice." "I know," he said. There was silence for a moment. Then Zari whispered, "You're different." Briggs chuckled lightly. "Some say that, others don't like it." Outside, something moved in the shadows. Small creature with green skin and sharp teeth clicked a device on its wrist. A hologram appeared. Zari's face. Briggs's face. A number blinked below -10,000 credits. The creature grinned. Elsewhere in the city, deep inside a black room filled with smoke and neon light, a figure sat behind a wide desk. 4 arms. Cold blue eyes. The debt collector. He watched the hologram from his spy's device. "So?" Briggs interfered. He growled. Another creature stepped forward. He took the girl. The debt collector narrowed his eyes. She was supposed to be sold to the red mines. Her price was unpaid. "What should we do?" "Mark them both," he said. "The human wants to be a hero. Let's see how long he survives." He tapped his desk. 2 bounty hunters appeared. On the screen, one tall and silent with metal claws. The other, short but fast, eyes replaced with sensors. "Send them," the collector hissed. "Bring her back. Kill the man." Back in the room, Zari had fallen asleep on the bed. Her breathing was soft, peaceful. Briggs stood by the window, looking at the stars. He had seen too much. War, slavery, cruelty. He had left Earth long ago, hoping for peace. But peace never lasted. He heard a soft sound. The door scanner. His hand moved to his belt. Outside. The door blinked red. Someone was scanning it. From the outside, Briggs moved silently to Zari and shook her gently. "Wake up." She opened her eyes fast. "What is it?" "Stay behind me." He pulled out a small plasma pistol. The door burst open. The first bounty hunter stepped in, tall, armored, clawed. The second rolled in behind, spinning fast. Aiming a dart rifle, Briggs fired first. The blast hit the wall as the tall one dodged. The small one returned fire. A dart flew past Zari and hit the bed. Briggs moved fast. He grabbed Zari's hand and pulled her behind cover. "Why are they after us?" Zari cried. "Because you were marked," Briggs said. "I didn't do anything. You're property to them now. You belong to someone. That's how this world works. I don't want to belong to anyone." Briggs looked into her eyes. "Then fight." He tossed her a small blade. "Stay down. If one of them comes close, stab. Hard." She nodded, fear in her throat. Briggs rolled out, fired again, and hit the small bounty hunter in the arm. Sparks flew. The creature shrieked. But the tall one was faster. It leaped over the crates. Claws raised. Zari screamed. Briggs turned just in time and fired point blank. The creature crashed to the floor, groaning. "Silence. Zar." I crawled out. "Are they dead?" Briggs checked. "No, but they won't follow. For now." He picked up a tag from the smaller one's belt. A red symbol blinked on it. He showed Zari. You've been claimed. Someone paid for you. Someone dangerous. Zari trembled. What now? Briggs looked at the door. Now we run. And if they keep coming? We fight. The old sky shuttle roared through the dusty atmosphere of Illyrex 4. Its engines coughed, and black smoke followed behind like a trail of warnings. Inside, Zari held onto a metal rail tightly. The ship shook every few seconds, and she could feel her fear rise with each bump. Briggs was at the front, flying the shuttle with one hand and scanning a map with the other. Is it safe? She asked, her voice shaky. Briggs didn't look back. Nothing is safe. But this is better than sitting still. She nodded, though her heart wasn't calm. After the bounty hunter attack, they had escaped through a back alley and stolen the shuttle. It wasn't legal, and it wasn't fast, but it was flying, and right now, that was enough. Zari looked at the small blade Briggs had given her. Her hands still trembled when she touched it. She had never fought before, never even thought she could. But now she was running for her life. Just hours ago, she was begging for food. Now she was marked, hunted. Why me? She whispered to herself that far above the planet. In the black space between stars, something woke. A drone ship shaped like a dark needle floated in silence. It had no crew, no voice. Only orders. Inside its core, a red light blinked. Target. Zari. Species, unknown. Status, escaped property. Mission, capture. The machine activated. Metal panels slid open. Long arms clicked into place. Its artificial mind searched Zari's image, face, height, movement pattern. Then it locked on. Engines flared, and the hunter drone began its descent. Back in the shuttle, Zari finally spoke again. Where are we going? Briggs answered, Outpost 11, on the dark side of this moon. Few people, fewer rules. Zari frowned. Won't they follow us there too? They'll try, Briggs said. But I have friends there. Old ones. Zari wanted to ask more. About his past, why he was helping her, who he used to be. But the silence between them felt too heavy. So she looked out the window instead. Suddenly, a loud alarm beeped. Briggs cursed under his breath. Tracker drone, it found us. Zari's eyes widened. How? Briggs checked the scanner. Not sure. Maybe the tag from the bounty hunter wasn't just a signal. Maybe it had a beacon. Outside the shuttle, a black shape streaked through the sky, fast, precise. It moved like a shadow with purpose. The red dot on Briggs's screen blinked faster. It's gaining, he said. Zari gripped the seat. What do we do? Briggs flipped a switch. We fight it off. Or we die. A panel opened in the shuttle's roof. A small turret came out. It was old and rusty, but it worked. Briggs gave Zari the controls. You ever shoot before? She stared at him. No. He looked into her eyes. Learn fast. Zari sat at the gun controls. Her hands shook. The screen showed the drone approaching fast, sleek, deadly, silent. She aimed. The turret moved with her hands. Wait. Briggs said, don't fire yet. Wait until it's close. The drone locked on. Two red lasers pointed at their engine. I could hear her heartbeat in her ears. Now! Briggs shouted. She pulled the trigger. The turret fired. Bright energy blast shot into the sky. The drone dodged, rolled, and came back. A blast of its own hit the side of the shuttle. I screamed. Briggs fought with the controls. Keep shooting. She tried again. This time she hit it, barely. The drone spun for a second but recovered. Then it changed shape. Metal wings opened. Small rockets clicked into place. Its red eyes locked on Zari's position through the shuttle wall. It fired. Zari ducked just in time. The gun screen cracked. Sparks flew. We can't win. She cried. Briggs hit a final switch. No, but we can crash. What? Hold on. The shuttle dove toward the dark mountains below. Wind howled. The drone followed. Briggs aimed for a deep canyon. The rocks came closer. The drone sped up, ready to kill. Then Briggs flipped the shuttle sideways. Just as it reached a narrow rock tunnel, the drone followed. But it was too wide. Crash. The canyon echoed with the sound of metal ripping. The shuttle smashed into the side wall, skidding and tumbling. Zari screamed as they rolled and stopped near a frozen river. Smoke filled the air. The roof caved in slightly. Briggs coughed and pushed off his seat. "You alive?" Zari nodded. "I think so." They crawled out. The drone was a twisted mess of metal, half buried in the ice. Briggs kicked its broken head. "One down." Zari stared at the wreck. "They'll send more." Briggs looked at her. "Then we'll keep running. Until you're free." Zari didn't speak. But deep inside, something changed. She wasn't just running now. She was surviving. Zari followed Briggs through the icy wind as they climbed out of the crashed shuttle. Smoke rose behind them. The drone was dead, twisted into the frozen ground like a broken nightmare. But they both knew more would come. The dark moon sky above was quiet now. Too quiet. Briggs tightened his coat. "We're close. Outpost 11 is hidden just beyond this ridge." Zari looked around. Nothing but sharp rocks, frozen rivers, and black cliffs. "I don't see anything." "You're not supposed to," Briggs said. They walked for 20 minutes. Zari's hands were numb, her feet cold, but she didn't complain. She was stronger now. The fear was still inside her, but it wasn't in control anymore. Briggs stopped at a large boulder and knocked 3 times. Then twice, then once. Nothing happened. Then the ground opened. A ramp lowered. Lights flickered on in the ice. A metal door slid sideways, revealing a tunnel below the mountain. Zar, I stared. "What is this place?" Briggs answered. "A place the galaxy forgot." They stepped inside. Outpost 11 wasn't big, but it was built like a bunker. Old steel walls, warm lights, and sealed air. Inside were a few scattered beings, rough-looking. Humans, one-eyed aliens, even a small group of ex-soldier bots playing a card game. They all looked up when Briggs entered. A silence fell. Then one voice said, "Well, look what the wind dragged in." A tall woman stepped forward. Her skin was bronze, her hair cut short, and one eye was covered with a glowing patch. She wore a heavy jacket with a symbol Zari didn't understand, a red star inside a black circle. "Didn't think you'd ever come back here, Briggs," the woman said. Briggs gave a small smile. "Didn't think I'd need to." She looked past him at Zari. "Who's the girl?" "Her name is Zari. She's not cargo." Zari stepped forward. "Not for sale." The woman raised an eyebrow. "Good, 'cause we don't sell people here." Briggs looked around. "Still running the place, Runa?" "Only when the power stays on," she said. "Come in, warm up." They followed her into the back room, a small chamber with a table, a heater, and a large map of the system on the wall. Weapons hung neatly beside it. Runa poured something hot into metal cups and handed one to Zari. It smelled like sweet fire. Zari sipped slowly. Warmth returned to her fingers. "So," Runa said, looking at Briggs, "you're in trouble." Briggs nodded. "We both are." She was about to be sold. "I stopped it." "Of course you did," Runa muttered. Still playing the hero. Briggs didn't answer. Runa sat down. "You know who owns her now?" "Debt collector," Briggs said. Runa's eyes narrowed. "He doesn't forget, or forgive," I figured. Zari looked between them. "You two know each other?" Briggs looked at Runa. She sighed. "We were in a war together, years ago. He saved my life once. I saved his twice. Now he shows up with a girl marked by the most dangerous traitor in this sector." Zari asked. "Can we stay here?" Runa hesitated. "A few nights. But if you stay longer, they'll find you. And they'll burn this place to the ground." Briggs stood. Then I need a ship, Runa pointed at a wall. Pick one. If it still flies, it's yours, Zari whispered. You're really helping us? Runa gave a crooked smile. I help. Good people, but I don't like debt. Don't owe me. Zari nodded. Just then, alarms echoed through the outpost. Red lights flashed. Runa ran to the wall console. Something just entered orbit. Fast, heavy. Briggs joined her. Show me. Screen blinked on. A large vessel hovered above the moon. Black and red. The mark of the collector on its side. Zar, I gasped. They found us already, Briggs cursed. They're not wasting time. Not just them, Runa said. She zoomed in. There's another ship behind them. The screen showed a second vessel, smaller, sleeker, darker. Briggs stared at it. That's not one of theirs. Runa shook her head. No, that's a bounty hunter class ghost ship. No crew, just one pilot. Who? Runa looked at him. You. Briggs turned pale. Zari whispered. What does that mean? It means, Runa said slowly, someone isn't just hunting you, Zari. Someone is hunting him too. Outpost 11 shook as distant blasts echoed through the ice-covered mountain. The collector's ship had entered the sky above them, and the second, darker, faster, ship now circled like a vulture waiting for blood. Zari stood beside Briggs in the command room, eyes wide. You said they were after me, she whispered. But that ship, it's here for you. Briggs didn't deny it. He looked at the screen again, jaw tight. It's been a long time. Runa crossed her arms. You told me you disappeared. After the war, I tried. Zari looked at them both. Who is it? Who's coming? Briggs sighed. Her name is Kalra. A bounty hunter, the best. She never misses. And 10 years ago, I left something she wanted. Zari asked carefully, what did you take from her? Briggs answered, myself. In the dark ship above, Kalra sat alone in her chair. Her skin was pale like moonstone, her hair shaved on one side. A scar ran down her lip. Her eyes, sharp and silver, glowed softly in the ship's blue light. Her fingers danced across the controls. On the screen, two faces glowed. Zari, marked and escaped, and Briggs, a traitor, a deserter. A man who once promised her something, then vanished. She whispered to herself, you left me for dust, Briggs. You think saving that girl makes you clean? Her voice was calm, cold. She pressed a button. Below her, the collector's ship began to deploy hunter bots. She smiled. Let them soften him up. I want to see him bleed. Briggs turned from the screen and looked at Zari. We need to leave now. Runa blocked the door. You won't make it out in one piece. We don't have a choice. Runa grabbed a small device from the wall, a crystal key. Take the blue ship in Bay 2. It's fast but weak on defense. Get to the shadow corridor near Orion Gate. Zari followed Briggs quickly, but her heart was full of questions. Why didn't you tell me you were hunted? Briggs didn't stop, because this wasn't about me. It was about you. About what they were going to do to you. But now, it's both of us, she said. He looked back. It was always both of us. You just didn't know yet. Bay 2 was cold and silent. The blue ship stood alone, dust on its wings. Briggs threw open the hatch. Inside, strap in. As they entered, lights flickered on. The ship was small but clean. Zari took the co-pilot seat. Suddenly, the wall exploded behind them. Briggs turned fast. Move! Out of the smoke came two hunter bots, tall, with blades for arms and scanners for eyes. The first one locked on Zari. The second charged Briggs. Zari grabbed the blade from her boot. Her hands shook, but she didn't freeze. The bot lunged. She rolled under it and stabbed upward, hitting a soft joint in its leg. Sparks flew. The bot stumbled. Briggs fired his plasma pistol at the second. You learned fast, he grunted. Zari ducked, jumped, and kicked the bot back. I had no choice. Briggs finished off the second bot with a shot to the head. Both bots collapsed, twitching. Alarms rang across the outpost. Runa's voice came through the ship's speaker. Get out now. The bounty hunter's coming down. I'll stall her as long as I can, Briggs nodded. Thank you. Don't thank me, Runa said. Just survive. The ship's engine roared. Zar, I looked out the window. From the clouds, a sleek black ship dropped like death. The hunter's ship. Kelra had arrived. As the ship lifted off, lasers rained down from the collector's cruiser. Briggs swerved hard, dodging through blasts. Zari helped with navigation, reading numbers, guiding directions. She's gaining. Zari shouted. Briggs gritted his teeth. Then we go lower. They flew through a canyon of ice, walls sharp and narrow. Kelra followed close, her ship nearly touching the ground. She spoke into her mic, voice cold. Briggs, you never learn. You always run. He ignored her. Zari screamed. There's a tunnel ahead. Briggs didn't slow down. The ship entered the tunnel, engines screaming. Kelra followed. Inside it was pure darkness. No lights, no signal, just ice and stone. Then, silence. Zari held her breath. Briggs flipped a switch. The ship powered. Down dead. Why? She asked. She can't track us with no heat, he whispered. Now we wait. And hope. Minutes passed. Kelra's ship flew past, unaware they had stopped. Briggs finally exhaled. Zar, I leaned back. That woman. She wants to kill you? No, he said. She wants to make me watch as I lose everything, again. Zari looked at him closely. Then don't lose me. He didn't speak. But his eyes said everything. They had escaped for now. But the chase was far from over. The ship floated in silence inside the icy tunnel. No lights. No sound. Just darkness. Zar, I sat still in her chair, listening to her own heartbeat. Briggs sat beside her, eyes on the scanner. The engines were cold. The ship was hidden. Outside. The bounty hunter searched for them. Do you think she's gone? Zari whispered. Briggs shook his head. No, she's smart. Smarter than me. She used to be your partner? He nodded. We were soldiers. Then smugglers. Then something else. Zari didn't ask more. She could hear the pain in his voice. There was something between him and Kelra, something deep, maybe even love once. But now Kelra wanted them both dead. Briggs finally spoke again. We can't stay here. Sooner or later, she'll scan this tunnel again. So what do we do? He turned on the navigation screen. We go to a place you never expect. Where? Sector Black. Zari gasped. But that's restricted space. That's why she won't follow, not right away. And if she does, well, there's worse things in Sector Black than Kelra. Zari didn't argue. She knew by now, staying still meant dying. Briggs powered up the ship. In space, Kelra's ship circled the moon. Her scanners picked up no heat. No movement. She narrowed her eyes. You're smarter than before, Briggs, she said to herself. But I know how you think. She opened a holomap and searched old smuggler routes. Her eyes stopped on one word. Sector Black. She smiled slowly. There you are. She pressed a button. Her ship turned, and the stars began to shift. Briggs and Zari flew in silence. The stars outside looked colder now, and the space between them darker. Sector Black wasn't on normal maps. It was filled with abandoned ships, dead stations, and strange signals. Why are we going here? Zari asked softly. Briggs answered, because it's the only place I know where laws don't matter, and secrets die quietly. As they entered the edge of Sector Black, their screen started flickering. Zari tapped the console. Something's jamming us, Briggs nodded. Old tech. The whole sector is full of broken machines. But we're close. Close to what? To someone I used to trust. They landed on a giant floating station that looked half dead. Lights blinked weakly. Parts of it were missing, like it had survived a battle years ago and was never fixed. Zari followed Briggs inside. The air was dry. The halls were dark. They walked slowly until they reached a heavy door. Briggs knocked 5 times. Nothing. Then a voice came through the door. Robotic. Name? Briggs, he said. Silence. Then the door opened. Inside stood a robot, tall humanoid, made of silver plates and blue light. One eye glowed. Briggs, the robot said, you look older. And you still look dead inside, Hex, Briggs replied. Zari stayed behind him. Who is your guest? The robot asked. She's the reason we're here. Hex looked at Zari. She is marked, yes, Briggs said, by the collector. Hex blinked. Then you brought danger to my home. Briggs stepped forward. I need your help. Hex paused. Then he turned. Come. The robot led them to a control room. Old screens showed parts of the station. One screen showed a large vault. I have one jump ship left, Hex said. It's hidden inside the vault. You'll need it. Why? Help us now? Briggs asked. Hex's voice was calm. Because once, long ago, you helped me escape. And because I am bored. Briggs smiled slightly. Zari asked, can we leave now? Hex said, you can, but you won't. What do you mean? She asked. Then the alarm sounded. On the screen, a black ship appeared above the station. Kale Ra.Zari single quotes S blood ran cold. How did she follow us? She knows me, Briggs said. Knows where I'd go. Hex activated the defense grid. My turrets will buy you 3 minutes. Briggs turned to Zari. We get to the vault. We take the jump ship, and we run. Zari nodded. I'm ready. No matter what happens, he said, you get on that ship. You survive. You're not dying for me, she snapped. He smiled. I'm not planning to die. They ran through the station as blasts shook the walls. Metal screamed. Lights flickered. Kalra had docked. She walked through the station alone. 2 blasters in her hands. She didn't need help. She was the weapon. Briggs and Zari reached the vault. Hex opened the heavy doors. Inside stood a small, sleek jump ship. Fast, untraceable, rare. Get in, Briggs said. Zar, I hesitated. I won't leave you behind. He touched her shoulder. You won't have to. Just be ready. Outside, Kalra walked through smoke and sparks. Her eyes locked on the vault's location. She raised her blaster. Inside the vault, the lights dimmed. A shadow appeared in the doorway. Kalra stepped in. Hello. Briggs, she said. Zar, I raised her blade. But Briggs stepped in front of her. Kalra smiled. Still protecting things you can't keep. I don't need to keep her, he said. Just help her escape. Kalra aimed. Briggs didn't move. Zari screamed, no. But Kalra didn't shoot. Not yet. Instead, she whispered, run all you want. The next time I find you, I won't miss. Then she vanished into the smoke. The vault doors closed. The jump ship launched. Zari looked back as the station shrank behind them. She turned to Briggs. She let us go. For now, he said. But why? Briggs looked out into space. Because Kalra doesn't just want blood. She wants me to suffer first. The jump ship flew fast through deep space, stars stretching like silver lines outside the windows. Zari sat in the co-pilot's seat, her eyes wide with quiet thoughts. For the first time in days, no one was chasing them, but peace in space was never real. Just temporary. Briggs sat beside her, silent, flying with steady hands. Zari finally spoke. Where are we going? To a planet called Aurelis, Briggs said. It's outside the collector's reach. They don't care about poor planets. Safe, he nodded. As safe as any place in the galaxy. Zari looked at her hands. Why did Kalra let us go? Briggs didn't answer for a long time. She doesn't want to kill me fast, he said. She wants me to live in fear. Always watching over my shoulder. Zari frowned. That's cruel. That's her way. Zari sat back. She had almost died. She had almost been sold. But now she was free, and still beside the man who saved her. 2 days later, their ship landed on Aurelis. The planet was quiet. No high-tech cities. No big ships. Just mountains, green fields, and small villages. People walked with tools, not weapons. Zari stepped onto the ground and felt warm wind in her hair. For the first time she smiled. It's beautiful. Briggs smiled too. Yeah, it is. They walked to a small village. Briggs knew someone, an old woman named Maya. She gave them a room in her home, food to eat, and told no one who they were. Zari helped in the fields during the day. She learned how to plant, how to fix fences, how to carry water. Briggs worked quietly too, repairing old machines for villagers. He never said much, but every time Zari looked at him, he was watching her. Like he was still guarding her, even here. One night under the stars, Zari sat on a hill, hugging her knees. Briggs came and sat beside her. I used to dream of peace. She said, you have it now. For how long? Briggs looked at the sky. As long as we don't run anymore. Zari turned. What do you mean? I mean, hiding doesn't work forever, he said. We have to live. Build something. Be more than just prey. Zari nodded slowly. I never thanked you, she said, for saving me. You don't need to, he said. But I want to. She paused. Then asked the question that had stayed in her heart since day one. Why did you help me? You didn't even know me. Briggs looked at her gently. Because no one helped my sister. Zari's eyes softened. She was taken? He nodded. When I was younger, I was too far, couldn't stop it. I never found her again. Zari said nothing. Just reached out and held his hand. They sat in silence under the stars. Months passed. Zari changed. She laughed more. She grew stronger. She helped others. She wore clean clothes and ate every day. She was no longer the girl who whispered, all I have are my clothes. Now she had friends. Now she had worth. And Briggs, he changed too. His eyes were softer. He smiled more. He built a life. A quiet life. One he never thought he'd have again. But far away, in the deep cold of space, Kelra sat in her ship, watching a screen. Zari's face glowed. Briggs's face glowed. She touched the screen softly. Enjoy your peace, she whispered. I'll come when you least expect it. She didn't press the tracker button. Not yet. Because some pain is better when it grows first. Back on Aurelis, Zari stood outside the village with Briggs. A child ran past, laughing. An old man waved. She looked up at the stars. I don't want to be hunted anymore, she said. You're not. But the mark. Briggs took something from his pocket. A small glowing chip. He crushed it under his boot. No more mark. Zari stared at him. Then who am I now? He smiled. Who do you want to be? She thought. Then said softly, not cargo, not a runaway, not someone saved. He waited. I want to be someone with a name. He looked into her eyes. Then choose one. She smiled, truly smiled, and whispered a name. From that day, no one called her Zari again. She was reborn, not a slave, not property, not hunted, just human.